Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be walking you through an intermediate make.com technique, which is breaking up scenarios. So if you're trying to scale your automations, but you're potentially hitting timeouts, inefficiencies, or any sort of disorganization, this one's for you. So all breaking up a scenario really means is that you might potentially have large or complicated workflows. So you could split them at either certain points or just split it in two, so that data can still pass through them through HTTP requests and a webhook module. Mainly people do this to prevent timeouts, make automations more modular and scalable, and also improving error handling as well, which I'll get onto everything. So I'll show you how it works. So we've got a scenario here. It starts by searching rows. In this case, it's full of leads. We'll then format the names. It'll replace a lot of characters that can break the JSON and also clean it up a little bit. We'll then find the emails of those leads. This will then use never bounce to get an email verification. We'll use perplexity to research the prospect. DeepSeek to create an email. That will pass the output of DeepSeek, and then we'll add it to instantly. This is a fairly long scenario, and the issue we'll have is that these four will run quite quickly, but never bounce could take 10-20 seconds to verify email. Perplexity certainly takes about 15 to 20 seconds to research the profile. DeepSeek also, especially with its degraded web performance at the moment and API performance, it also takes about 15, 20, 25 seconds and sometimes breaks as well. These two are quite quick. So we need to figure out a way to split this into two. So you'd try and figure out where, and just take a moment just to figure out where you'd potentially do it, just off the basis of what I've said there. So if you said you split it here, you're absolutely correct. What I'd probably do, or what I will do, is split it here. And I'll just move this out the way for you quickly. The reason I do that is because that uses one operation, so that's not an issue. These three can be really quick, and it would just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 operations, just like that. And the good thing about using any mail finder is that they use a webhook callback. So even if the result isn't ready straight away, you can still send it to a webhook and it will find the email through there. So what you'd do is you'd click into here, you'd add a header, and because it's any mail finder in particular, you'd include X webhook URL header in your API request. So that's the header, and as the key, you'd put the URL for the webhook. So how this ends up looking like this. You'd create a webhook and you'd split this side off and just connect it up like so. And that way, this can run for as long as it needs to. So since these three will take quite a while to run and create an operation, finish an operation, this normally does about 3,000 leads before timing out, which means this can just run for as long as it wants, about 5-10 minutes later, and finish then, purely because there's actually no timeout on a webhook scenario. So let me give you another example, something I actually created for a client recently. This takes the data from the app that I developed for them to trigger the automation. This then searches whether they are an existing client or not. If they're new, it will create a spreadsheet, add the row of the client name and the spreadsheet ID, and it will send the data to the webhook. If these were all together, as you can imagine, it would be, goes like that. It would be quite a big scenario, right? And also the reason being is to save operations, I've included the one bulk API call in here. So when all the leads are finished adding to Instantly, it then goes through this path and adds all the data, all the leads that got added in to a spreadsheet for him to keep in his records. So I couldn't actually have these all together. And the reason I split it up so much is because I needed the spreadsheet ID from this scenario to end up adding it into the spreadsheet ID here dynamically. So I had to split it all up, not because of timeouts, but because it made more sense and I could actually save operations adding them in this way, because there was no other way of getting the spreadsheet ID for this module if it was in here. So I split it up like so. So there's various reasons why you'd split up a scenario. It wouldn't just be for timeouts. You'd have to figure out and strip back what was best for that client or what was best for you in terms of how you're going to get all the data between each scenario. And for me, for this one, it was to store it in a data store from the first scenario and then get the record in the second one, the third one this is, to then be able to add it into Google Sheets that way. And we also needed to get the campaign ID for this, which came from the first scenario. So again, we'd store it in here. I know it says store spreadsheet ID, but it stored a couple other things. And we were able to just use one operation here and add it into Instantly here, which was pretty clever if I do say so myself. So I'll show you how this would work. So let's say we get a bit of data from here and you want to send the data you're getting here to a webhook. You'd first need to create your webhook, custom webhook. You can add one, call it whatever you want, press save. And you'll see it is now listening for data and will determine the data structure from the incoming data manually. So you want to keep it listening, go back into your other one. You want to copy this, keep it listening, go back into your other one and paste that into the URL. You'll then choose a post request, body type raw, content type JSON, application JSON. And the request content, let's say email, and for example, john.cena@youcan'tseeme.com. I've never been a wrestling fan, by the way. Save. Make sure this one's listening. It is. Run it once. And this apparently has sent that to the webhook. So you'd go in here, successfully determined, run it, and I'll show you how it looks like again. Instantly, this has got the data. John.cena, email is john.cena@youcan'tseeme.com. And that is how you'd split it out. And any data that you want to pass through, so say you needed to pass an email through and any other data you needed for this scenario to carry on, you'd have to pass it through this webhook. So, I don't know, phone number, let's say, company name, phone number is, a good phone number, company name is WWE. Remember, if the last variable that you're passing through, don't put a comma, that it won't work. The last one, you never put a comma. And if we just run this again, run that, you can see it's all come through. Obviously, I didn't put an email in. But that's pretty much it. That's how you split scenarios, why you'd potentially split them. And yeah, I hope that helped. You may already know how to do that, but it's a cool little hack and it's really simple. So that's why I called it an intermediate one and not an advanced one. But if you are serious about building actual scalable solutions, then splitting these scenarios are a must. So yeah, if this helped you, smash the like button, comment whether it did or not, and subscribe for any more content like this. That's it for now. Go implement this and let me know how it goes. See you in the next one.